Hi, HMS modelers. This is Matt Fleming, and I work at the Hydrologic Engineering Center. And in this video, we're going to talk about how to customize your subbasin and reach delineation. All right. On this first slide, we're going to talk about merging subbasin elements together. All right. You can merge subbasin elements as long as they are adjacent to one another. And the simple way to go about doing this is first you select the subbasin elements within the basin model map that you want to merge. And once those elements are selected, then you go to the GIS menu and choose the Merge Elements option. In the past, in previous versions of HMS, you could only merge two subbasin elements at a time. However, starting in version 4.9, you could select as many subbasin or reach elements if you wanted to merge those together at a time and then choose the merge operation. All right, the program will automatically create the new element for you and assume a name for that new element. And then on this slide, it shows you, as you go through the process of merging those subbasins together, you'll notice that, well, those reaches that are left behind, you'll still have those individual reach elements. Therefore, if you're going to want to combine those together, you would simply follow the same type of procedure. You would select those reach elements. And in this figure, I have 4 reach elements selected, and then go to the GIS menu and choose the merge operation. All right, the next thing we're going to talk about is splitting subbasin and reach elements. All right, so the general procedure that you follow for splitting elements is you're going to want to select that element that you want to split. So in this example right here, a subbasin element is selected. And then you would go to the GIS menu and choose the split element option. And once you do that, you would zoom in to your basin model map so that you can make sure that you click on top of either the identified stream layer or click on top of the detailed terrain or detailed stream network that you can see within the flow accumulation grid. All right, so let's talk about that just a little bit more. When you go through the process of splitting a subbasin element, you're going to see this preliminary screen right here, and this shows you the preliminary delineation. And you can see you have a chance to either accept the delineation or revert it and go back to the way it was before. And then if you do choose to accept, you'll see a brand new subbasin added to the element network. And then if you did choose the option to add junction elements as part of the automated delineation, then you'll see a new junction element, and then you'll also see a reach element connecting the junction to the next downstream element. Right. Let's talk more about where you should locate that split point. So I mentioned before, you want to make sure that you're clicking the split location either on top of the identified stream layer or on top of the detailed stream network that's represented by the flow accumulation grid. If the identified stream layer does not extend far enough up the reach to intersect where you want to delineate, you can always rerun the identified stream layer, and you can reduce the threshold that the program uses to identify stream elements. All right. We have an example here in this slide here. We have 2 figures, and in this figure you can see on the upper left, here's my identified stream layer, and then here's the point that I want to delineate to right here. So maybe this represents an observed stream flow gauge, or maybe some location where you need flow computed by HEC-HMS to pass to another downstream model. And in this example right here, the identified stream layer, it does not extend far enough up the watershed to intersect that point. So what I did in this example is I just reran identified streams, I reduced the threshold, and then the identified stream layer or line now intersects that point. And then I ran through those steps that I mentioned earlier. I selected the subbasin, chose the split operation, and then zoomed in and clicked on the identified stream layer. The other option is if you don't want to rerun the identified stream layer, you could always turn on your flow accumulation grid, and that's what you see in this upper left figure right here. So this is what I refer to as the detailed stream network as identified by the flow accumulation grid. And then you would follow the same type of process. You would select that subbasin, go to the split option, zoom in, and then make sure you click on a cell that is part of the stream right where you want to subdivide the subbasin element. And then in the lower right figure, you can see the byproduct of this split operation. We now have this small little subbasin up in the headwaters after delineating to this point right here, represented in the figure in the upper left. All right, finally, you can do the same type of thing. You can merge reach elements together, or you could split those reach elements to get apart from one another. And maybe in this example, you have drastically different slopes along this river course, and you want to represent how water is flowing with different reach segments, and you can always do that. You would follow the same type of procedure. You would select this reach element, then go to the GIS menu and choose split, and then zoom into the location where you want to split the reach, and then make sure that you click exactly on top of that reach element. All right, so let me walk through what we just talked about with an example. Here's our Punxsutawney Watershed, and you'll notice here this element network that we see right now, the subbasins and reaches, this came from the default delineation. And what I want to do now is I want to refine the number of subbasin and reach elements given the data that I have to calibrate the model. So in this model, there's only one observed flow gauge down here at the outlet. And I want to consider, well, maybe let's reduce the complexity of this model and merge some of these subbasins together. All right, so I'm going to start on this tributary first. The first thing I like to do is let's zoom in just a little bit. I'm going to start selecting the subbasins on this tributary. So hold down the control key and then start selecting those subbasins. All right, I have those selected. Now I'm going to go to the GIS menu and choose the Merge Elements option. All right, so I have this tributary now represented as one subbasin. This tributary is represented as one subbasin as well. And then this area downstream of the confluent, we still have quite a few subbasins. So what I want to do next is merge these subbasins together. There we go. They're all selected. I'll go to the GIS menu and then choose the Merge Elements option. And there we go. We just have now one subbasin downstream of the confluence of these two rivers right here. And then the final step, I want to merge these smaller reach segments into one reach. There we go. I have those selected. Now I'm going to go back to the GIS menu and choose Merge Elements. All right. Now we have just one reach element representing how water flows from the junction downstream to the outlet. All right. That's the merge operation. The next thing that I want to do is I want to split this subbasin up into 3 smaller subbasins. And conceptually, the reason why I would do this is I have here observed flow. I have some observed flow gauges, and I want to make sure that the model is computing flow at those locations so that I can do a better job calibrating the model. All right. So you notice what I just did. I zoomed in to the location where I want to split the subbasin, and you can see the identified stream layer turned on. Right? First thing to do, select that subbasin that you want to split, go to the GIS menu, choose the split element option, and then click on the identified stream layer about where you want the split to occur. Here's my preview window. I'm going to choose accept. And now I have 2 subbasins where there used to be one. All right, and then the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to split the subbasin one more time so that I have an outlet or a subbasin upstream of this point. Okay, instead of running the identified stream option again with a smaller threshold, I'm just going to turn on my flow accumulation grid. There we go. Zoom in just a little bit more, and you can see the super detailed stream network right here. I'm going to follow the same step. I have that subbasin highlighted. I'm going to go to the GIS menu. choose the split element option, and then click on top of the detailed stream network about where that gauge location would be located. There we go. There's my preview. I'm going to go ahead and accept it. And then I'll turn off the flow accumulation grid. And hopefully now you can see the byproduct of that. So I have this headwater subbasin here, a new junction element, and then the reach element connects the computed flow from this subbasin downstream to the next junction. I still have this intermediate subbasin right here, and then I have that downstream subbasin. All right. Let's just say you didn't like what the outcome of that delineation was, so you can always select those 3 subbasins, go to the GIS menu, and merge them together. All right, so we walked through how to use the tools to refine your delineation. We walked through how to merge subbasins together, and then how to split either subbasins, or you could also split a river reach if you wanted to.